Director of Research, Monitoring and Evaluation at the NRSC, National Road Safety Campaign Program. So, welcome, gentlemen, to the show. It's great to have you all here.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
The last time I ever went on a traffic issue with you was when we traveled to Lagos. It was a very interesting trip on Lamata to see how the Lagos Authority, Metropolitan Authority, was using the BRT system. Now, what has happened to our BRT system, the Bus Rapid Transit system in Ghana? We haven't been able to implement at all.
I think the soft side of the project is being implemented, and now it has to come to the hard side.
Yeah.
So the project is certainly going to be rolled out.
You think this will be good for
very
traffic
good.
Management in Ghana when it comes into
force?
Yes,
it will definitely ease congestions on our roads. So
congestion is a major problem in Accra, especially in most of our major cities now for the police service, right?
Yes, surely. That is so.
And how are you getting around it? I'm asking these questions to put it in context that the MTTU is well resourced to, one, contain the existing problems, and then to take on the additional issue of spot fines, which is coming into force in May next month.
But basically the crux of the issue is that right now, as you fly on our routes, you see increased police presence, police visibility on our routes. And you will confess that the state of traffic in the central business district in Accra is gradually improving because of our visibility.
Yeah, I agree. And so you're doing a lot more.
Yes, a lot more. But
we should expect more from
more.
So when this spot fine comes into force, what difference will it make from the existing implementation that are already in place? I mean, the spot fine is different from getting the guy who breaks traffic rules and saying that I'm processing you for court, appear before the motor traffic court, and then fined. I mean, that's different, right?
No, the spot fine is just a simple concept. It lies in the fact that you have to pay money for breaking the law. And it is on the spot as you committed offense. So basically that is it. And basically it is a conviction.
It's a conviction.
Basically that is
it not just a deterrent?
It is a conviction, and it's supposed to be deterrent. So that is the issue.
So for example, if I jump the red light, I'm speeding and I run through the red light, and you catch me at the other end, and instantly you demand that I pay a spot fine. Maybe the penalty points will be determined later, so I don't want to push it to them.
It depends on systems and procedures.
Okay.
And the system would have to work so that at the end of the day we achieve the objective. So basically, there's a justification for the institution of spot fine. You see that as you drive on our various routes, it is quite clear that there is great indiscipline on our routes.
There is.
That seems to be the very great factor. People drive the way they want to be. So that basically leads to road traffic accidents. So the institution of the spot fine is to curb this menace. Okay. So basically, we think that when we do it effectively and efficiently, this menace of traffic indiscipline will obviously be
calmed down. Okay,
yes.
So I'll later come to you and we'll talk about the justification itself and link it to the law. But let me come to you, Nana. When you look at our traffic situation now in Ghana, let's say Accra, let's focus our attention in Accra, the busy roads and the attitude of drivers on the roads, driving infractions, breaking of the law. Do you think spot fine is what we need from where you come from as a safety expert? You think spot fine will do the trick?
Well, I don't know about if it's going to do the trick because unfortunately I was not privy to the stakeholders meeting that was held, I don't know, whether a couple of days ago.
They have been
several.
It dates back to about 2 or 10 years.
How it's going to be administered, I'm not privy to that.
Okay.
But I believe it's a step in the right direction, and we've been advocating that the laws we have regulating the traffic management system and all that is fantastic, but the missing link is the enforcement. So if such system is going to be introduced, it can only be applauded And we hope we also can chip in how it should be administered to be able to use that system to eradicate the mayhem that goes on our road. Everybody in Accra.
So when you say how it should be administered, yes, exactly what are you looking at?
Well, I don't know what, probably the DSP will tell us. When you say spot fine, is the officer, the arresting officer, is he going to exact money? Let's say if the offense is worth 50 Ghana cedis, is he going to ask the errand driver to pay 50 cedis
there and then? Or is going to issue you with a ticket to go and pay at a pay point?
As it is in other places.
Yes, perhaps you can clarify that.
But whatever the police does is grounded in law. So whatever we implement, we don't enforce, we don't implement in a vacuum. There should be a law backing our enforcement.
No, but let me refer to the legislative instrument 218/2012 regulation 157.
So that is why we are talking about. I'll take you through the process. As I said, there are systems and procedures. Basically, in 2004, there was the enactment of this Road Traffic Act 683 of 2004, and specifically section 118 talks about spot fines. That is the basic act, the parent act. But when you refer to that act, 683, section 133 also talks about regulations. So subsequent to that, the Road Traffic and Regulation 2012, LI 2180, provided for the regulation, and Regulation 157 specifically talk about spot fines. And then it outlined the systems and the procedures for implementation.
Let me for the benefit of our viewers who don't know what is in that LI states that a person who commits a road traffic offense specified in the 7th schedule is liable to pay a spot fine. Where a person commits a road traffic offense which attracts a spot fine, a police officer in whose presence the offense was committed shall issue that person with a spot fine notice and record the offense in the counterpart's driver's license booklet for recording road violations of that person. A recipe for corruption or ensuring greater discipline. What is it? I mean,
so basically,
is this a recipe for corruption?
It is not for
it's corruption. Going to ensure greater discipline?
Basically, obviously, it is also going to eliminate the type of interference that the police go through whilst enforcing traffic rules and regulations. And as such that the pressure on the police and the courts will definitely be reduced. Talking about that, it can also rake in some income for the government and for police likewise. So it is very beneficial. And it is to curb those major, small traffic infractions on the road so that your time, it will not delay your time when you are going to attend meetings and you infract on the law. On the spot, you pay your fine, the police will allow you go. So it has a lot of benefits. So it is justified. That is why we want to enforce it. That is why we want to implement it.
There's no doubt about the law. I mean,
but your beef really is whether it can be properly enforced.
Because what the DSP is saying.
But we've seen a lot of laws.
We will come to that.
We'll get there, right?
We'll get there. So we will outline the process.
When the offense is committed by the errant driver in the presence of a police officer, is it then the police officer going to say in the offense, let's say, for instance, jumping the traffic lights? So the spot fine for jumping a traffic light is, let's say, 50 Ghana cedis. Is the police officer going to demand the 50 Ghana cedis there and then from the driver?
No, but that's what the law is saying. The law is saying that when the offense is committed, the police officer will issue the spot fine notice.
A spot fine notice, yes. That's different from what
you take the money. The police officer will.
The police officer would not take the money, but there are systems and procedures. So if you allow me, I will outline it.
Okay. Now, the point I'm making is that systems we all embrace. That if it's a watertight system that would not breed corruption, then that's fantastic. So we all applaud it.
What we are saying is that we are talking about institutional development.
Like
we are also talking about operational system that will allow the law to work.
Yes.
Institutional development is about collaboration and cooperation from all type of stakeholders, because with the police leading the onslaught.
Good.
So basically that is it. So we are talking about the private sector, we are talking about DVLA, we are talking about National Road Safety, we are talking about Ministry of Finance, we are talking about major stakeholders that will help the police to fashion out a system that will be able to let the law be implementable. So basically, that is what. And when we talk about the operational system, we are talking about personnel. We are going to train our personnel. We are talking about the numbers, and we are talking about the quantity. So basically, we are talking about logistics. We are talking about monitoring and evaluation. So basically, we are putting all the systems together to fashion out a procedure. And at the end of it all, we envisage that the program will be successful. We don't expect to get everything. We don't expect that we should get all the logistics.
Correct.
We should start from somewhere.
But DSP, you're saying that you're launching it in May. Now, how prepared? What is the preparedness of the administration, police administration, to launch this in May and operationalize it?
So no, but when you listen to DSP, what DSP is saying, he's not saying that they're neither prepared or not ready to be prepared, but he's saying that they are ready to roll it out while still continuing with strengthening the necessary institutions that must be in place for it to succeed.
We are going to launch the pilot. It is the pilot,
so it is the pilot
that we are launching.
What I'm saying that
on
unfortunately
in Accra, Tema, and Kumasi. So that is what the commander talked about. That we are going to launch it in Accra, the major routes in Accra, Kumasi, and Tema. And let me say, it is not last 3 days that we have talked about sport fines. It started about 10 years back. 10 years back.
So all the years you were putting in place the systems?
Yes, system.
So now the systems are pretty much ready to go.
But we are saying that we cannot wait. What we are saying is that we can't wait to get all the resources. The law ought to be enforced. Basically, that is what we are talking about.
No, I'll give you. I think DSP has spoken quite a lot. One, your concern is whether this could be enforced. But beyond that, do you have other concerns which you think that we should be looking at realistically in order to make sure that it's not just spot fine, but in total, we're putting in place good systems to manage traffic in this country?
It's a good system, and I believe from what the DSP is saying, this project is a good candidate for the PPP that the government has been touting. Because we have done a lot of research, Safety Ghana have done a lot of research as to how the road can be sanitized with all this carnage that is going on, killing people on the road senselessly and whatever. So you need a major investment. What we're talking about, when we're talking about spot fine, there could be a major investment put in this project, and it will rake in a lot of income. That would even make the police self-sufficient.
Self-financing.
Because the internal generated funds, the money, I can see, because let's liken it to best practices elsewhere. In the US, most of the municipalities, they rely on this sort of project. If you like, anti-harassing motorists.
It's crazy in the UK.
To generate funds. So for me, it's something that is all-encompassing. We must all embrace it and make sure that we assist the police in the endeavor to make it work. That is our concern. I mean, and also the envisaged corruption that, if it's not properly implemented, would come with it.
So DSP, let me ask you. I mean, the concern about corruption is not something that we should sweep away easily, because one, we're thinking about the law says that there will be a spot fine notice issue. Two things: whether the person, the driver, the offending driver, will commit to paying that fine, whether you have enough checks to make sure that if he evades paying that fine, you can still track him down and ensure that he pays that.
So basically, that is why we are talking about multi-stakeholder collaboration. We are talking with the DVLA. We want to link our data systems together, and they are on board.
So you haven't finished doing that. You're not ready to enforce it.
Yes, we are doing it, and it's almost complete.
I mean, so I can put you to the test by jumping the traffic light and expecting you to issue me a notice. Then I decide not to pay. You can't get me anywhere.
We can get you over because there will be a camera to pick you.
Okay.
Where is the camera?
The camera is being procured, and very soon it will be ready. Before we roll out the program, there will be some cameras to do it.
Okay.
No,
what I'm saying is that the issue about corruption, we are going to bring out our best. It is not the small or the junior ranks who are going to issue out the tickets. The law definitely says that it's a police officer who is an inspector or above. And what I'm saying is that we are going to put in strict monitoring system to make sure that the law or the regulation actually works. And another issue is about motivation. Motivation. That at the end of the day, those who are going to implement the law, at the end of the day, it will seek to maybe motivate them enough so that at the end of the day, corruption, bribery would be downsized.
So you are looking at all those issues.
Yes, Steve. You know, the advent of technology has now impacted on every discipline in this world. Yeah. If you're talking about accountants, lawyers, and
even cooking,
doctors, and whatever, especially with the police. Look, the fiber optics that came about, where you can have cameras all over the place and whatever, totally changed the way policing was done in the UK.
Yeah.
Like the typical Bobby on
the beat.
Bobby on the beat has gone out of fashion. So for me, we as a developing country, we should embrace technology more than those, in the UK where they are established in their ways. It's very, very difficult to change their ways by enacting new laws to embrace these cameras and stuff like that. But fortunately, we are now developing our laws on traffic management and stuff like that. So it's a lot easier for us to start saying that, look, technology is here. Now, all these Navaras that I see on the intersections, when I see them, to be honest, with all due respect to the police, I thought it's a waste of time. Because, why is it a waste of time? You see, now, all the intersections that we have with the Navara vehicles flashing their lights and stuff like that, you see, you have the telecommunication industry. And as part of their social responsibility, we could have asked them, every point, all the intersections and all the vantage points in the city of Accra, in Kumasi, in Takoradi, you must make sure that you have points there, we can put cameras there. So that because the Bobby on the beat, which is now out of fashion, we can now install cameras. What the Navara vehicles with 6 policemen standing at the intersection, flashing their lights, can be done by a camera.
DSP wants to react.
Yes,
to that.
It will react, but let me finish the point. This flash, the cameras will do that, and where we have rapid response group. So instead of the visible policeman who is helpless standing there when the driver is committing an offense, he doesn't do anything. I just see them down there. They said a vehicle that is going round the traffic and all that. They look at them helplessly without doing anything whatsoever. But
police visibility is crucial.
Yes,
it's key. I mean, I don't know whether I completely agree that the Bobby on the beat concept of policing has phased out. It hasn't.
Let me go further. Can you see this camera, this helmet that I brought here? One would have thought with this law enforcement, they're talking about minor offenses. Like when you're talking about minor road traffic offenses, one would be thinking about speeding. I don't know whether speeding doesn't come under it. Jumping traffic lights.
Yes.
Undertaking.
Failing to renew.
So I mean, all of that you're saying, you were referring to that helmet with the camera attached to it.
Gadget.
So this belongs to you.
Yes, it's mine. A simple gadget with a communication unit attached, with all in there. Now, what this will do, when they see talking on the phone. I'm sure talking on the phone while driving is also part of the minor offenses.
Yes.
Now, if I'm driving, and I don't drive, I don't use the phone while I'm driving, but others do. So when you're talking on the phone and the police officer spots you that you're talking on the phone, and when he gets to you, he says, "Oh, I'm going to stop you for talking on the phone." It's your word against the police officer's word. But if that camera captures that driver driving...
And this must be worn by the police officer on a
motorbike. So the police unit that you're going to use to enforce these laws, I suppose, will be those on the motorbikes.
Yes.
Is that not so?
It certainly should not be on them. But really, what we are talking about PPP.
Yes.
So what we are doing is that to acquire cameras.
No, but my worry is that we are going to roll out a program.
Yes.
But the thing
you feel that all the elements are not in
the
place.
resources that you need.
But must we have all the elements?
No, we don't need to have that. The basic resources that we need would allow us to roll the program. We don't need so many things. But we need the basics.
What are the basics? Tell me what the basics. The basics. I brought this here. This for me is a basic.
Yes.
because is it in India?
I mean, you think this is a basic?
Yes, it's the basic.
Yes. We need.
Are you going to get something like this?
We are going to get cameras, but
not exactly cameras attached to
Which
the
cameras
helmet of the police officer.
Which cameras are you going to get?
We have various
speed
types. Speed camera. We have various types of cameras. We are going to take on board camcorders, still cameras.
Yes. I know about Vashka.
Yeah.
Which is installed.
We have the radar gun.
Yeah. But the radar gun has been with us.
Yes, we have the speed gun.
I mean, it's not all lost. As you say, it's still ongoing. It's going to be developed. And we will come and be part of the stakeholders meeting and also bring on board our ideas.
Yes.
So I'm not going to really talk much or fight you on this.
Yes.
But I believe that the basics, like I have got this here, DSP would have come here on the show to say that, look, we are rolling out from May.
And also perhaps bring a device.
This is how we're going to do it. We're going to roll it out to start off with. And then everything is developing. So from one stage, like if you use the bare basic, which I have here now, then you go on to procure Vashka. Vashka is the one that, if it's installed in a police car, okay, and it's following you, all the conversation that you're having in the car and your speed and everything is recorded. So the police, when
that's an intrusion of privacy.
No, it's not an intrusion. If they only start recording you when you are breaking the law. If you're doing 150 kilometers an hour, and the police have to follow you and have a dossier on you that you've committed the offense, he has every right to do that. Okay? So these are the things that you progress. But to start off with the basics, you start from class 1 before you go to class 2. So I agree with you that you're going to develop. But I would have been very happy to learn from DSP that, look, we are starting the program. We are rolling it off from May, but this is how we are going to roll it out. And then
that was what I was trying
so let's
to
hear.
But first and foremost, let me debunk the issue that policemen who are visible on their beats are not necessary.
No, I'm not saying it's unnecessary. I think
but the issue is that in the absence of the technology that you are talking about, there is a need to ensure that people are there. The presence of the police in the traffic is basically to prevent crime. It serves as a deterrent. When a policeman is there, people do not breach the law. So basically, it is of prime essence. I'll give
you an instance. You see, I am a motorcyclist. I love riding motorbikes. That's why I have this helmet and all the ride gear to let people know that it's not only hooligans who ride motorbikes. So, but I am an avid motorbike rider. Look, I have been around.
You have a license to drive a motorbike?
Yes, you must have a license to drive a motorbike. About 90% of the riders do not even think that you need a rider's license to ride. But the road we have there, the roadway, is not a right. It's a right if you're a pedestrian. But if you want to use the roadway, it's a privilege. And you must have the right license to drive on the road or the public roadway. Now, I've seen a bunch of motorbike riders in Accra, the capital city of Ghana. About 50 of them not wearing helmets, sitting three on a motorbike, and they go like Abusio kind roundabout. They seize the traffic with all these Navaras standing by, with 6 police officers
watching helpless,
and then you have to yield to them. If you don't, they beat on your car and shout at you, and then they will block and let their group pass.
That is lawlessness. It's not
total lawlessness, and I really shrink to my. I don't know what to say, but to see that in Accra. Now, these hoodlums that were doing that, assuming that material moment, they had AK-47s in their hands and they seized the traffic for 30 minutes. Goodness knows what they could have done to those people that at that material moment were there. The police that you were talking about in the Navara, that you said the police presence did not allow, it's a deterrent. They were there helpless. They couldn't do anything. I saw it with my 2 naked eyes, that these hoodlums on motorbikes seized the traffic for almost 30 minutes, and nothing was done about it. So what happened to the policeman that his presence was deterring the crime? And that was a crime that was committed, wasn't it?
Yes, I reckon that the police is faced with a lot of these issues where sometimes you're helpless.
We are faced basically with, but we are dealing with them head on. Recently, we just launched a series of operations to crack down on motor riders, and it was in the news. We achieved some success.
And great success.
Yes, great success, and we are not.
Well, how do you measure that success? I mean, when you say success, I mean
majority of the motor riders were basically arrested, and they were sent to court and they were prosecuted.
So let me ask you one off question. I mean, for example, when you're stopped in traffic by a police officer, does he or she have the right to seize your license?
The police officer has the right to inspect your driver's license,
but not to seize it. Confiscate it.
It depends on the situation. Here comes a case where there is an infraction on the license. For instance, the license that
maybe you have a class B and you are driving
basically
a class
it's not
C
that
vehicle.
it might have expired. And basically, the police officer would have to retain your driver's license as basically an exhibit at the law court if you are charged before the court.
I'm thinking about it, and I'm thinking about the fact that there will be a spot fine. I'm thinking all these will promote police tyranny, really.
Steve, no, it wouldn't.
Certainly,
Steve.
that is not it.
Steve.
That is not the intention. The intention is to save lives and reduce the level of indiscipline.
I said technology has impacted on every discipline in this world. Look, this season of motorist driver's license
is unnecessary.
It's outdated.
Absolutely unnecessary.
Let me tell you why it's outdated. You know the biometric that we've all gone into. You know the police started the DVLA. They started biometric by taking your biometric data and putting it on your license. Now, no policeman on the beat do not even need to see, like I see the FTP.
You just need a device to scan the
POS. The POS, if they have a POS, it's a little gadget that every policeman, whether you're on the beat, you're MTTU, or you're mainstream police, can have with you.
POS, point of service device.
Yes. So all you do, because we have gone biometric,
is to take your thumbprint.
If you put your thumbprint on it, okay, if you do a stop, and the driver puts his thumbprint on it, that will throw out all his data.
Yeah.
So if he throws out all his data, and you want to take the details of that driver, it's there.
That's easy.
So you can log on his offense, what he has done, and just print it out and give him a copy. So that has gone into the data, which will be captured at the MTTU operational office. It will be captured by DVLA. So if there is automatic penalty points that will go on your license, it will be done. Let me bring it down home so that you understand it, the viewers will understand. In the UK, when you commit a traffic offense, let's say you're speeding and you're doing 20 miles an hour over the speed limit. That the codified penalty is there. So it means that you get, let's say, 5 penalty points on your license. The fine, spot fine, will be, let's say, £50. Now, that £50, the police officer who stops you, he would then put it in there. So automatically it will give you the ticket. Then you are given 2 weeks, 14 days to go and pay. If you do not challenge that, if you admit that you committed the offense, you go and pay the £50. But if you don't pay it within the 2 weeks, after 2 weeks it doubles up to become £100.
Yeah.
And that, you should fill out a challenge form that you're going to challenge it in court. Now, you'll be given the opportunity to go to court to go and challenge it. Probably the arresting officer may not, probably you say you didn't like you, that's why he gave you the ticket or whatever. So you're allowed the opportunity to go to court to challenge it. When you go to court, now your fine is no longer £50, but it's gone to £100. Plus, if you don't win your case, there's additional cost that will make your fine go up to £150. So there are all the systems in place that if you think you are wrong, you swallow the bitter pill and go and pay your £50 without any questions.
Yes, I see that you want to react.
Yes, that is what this system also talks about.
That's what you are aiming to introduce.
Yes. The sub-regulation 157 also talks about that. And the issue is that if you are a first-time offender, what you do is that you either pay 5 penalty units. A fourth-time offender, you pay 15 penalty units. A fifth-time offender, 20 penalty units. When it reaches the sixth time, then it means that you are supposed to be prosecuted at the law court. And aside that, your driver's license would have to be revoked. And added to that, you have to go for driver retraining and testing. Then driver retraining, you'll come back to DVLA for testing. So these are the procedures. The procedures are stringent enough for people to deter people for infracting on traffic rules and regulations. So it is not just that the systems are there, but the issue is that there should be something on board to enforce. That is why we are launching the pilot project. As we go on, improvements will come, and based on that, we will fashion the system such.
So is there a period of implementation for the pilot?
The pilot is from May to December.
Okay.
From May to December.
So that's about 6 months.
Yes, 6 months.
See, my problem is not about the law. The law is fine. There's nothing wrong with the law.
It's
enforcement. And how it's going to be administered. So that these things, like if I mean, the traffic light, if I jump amber, I've not committed an offense. There's a thin line between amber and red. In fact, from a motorbike point of view, all the lights does not give you automatic go.
Yeah.
Because if the light is green and you're crossing an intersection as a motorcyclist and there's a vehicle crossing that has jumped the red light, and you say, oh, because I have the right of way, so you go and kill yourself.
The issue is about safety.
So I, from a safety point of view, that's why I'm looking at all this. How
But once you feel that this helmet of yours is the basic gadget, the police doesn't think so.
We need an office to operate, a sport fine office, basically.
The point is that
with the requisite personnel,
if the motorist
some logistics,
the motorist jump the traffic light.
if
the motorist jump the traffic lights, how is that police officer who arrests or who is going to give the sport fine? How can he say that?
It is going to be a team, traffic enforcement teams in groups, about 5 or 6, led by
a senior officer,
senior police officer, and an inspector, and the other ranks. So we are fashioning it according to our own culture.
The law. I can say that I did not jump the red light.
And someone will be there. Someone will be there. We are piloting it.
My concern
someone will be there with the camera.
My concern is that the police has in several instances given us reason to doubt whether indeed they are really prepared for this enforcement. A lot of police officers on our roads sometimes just don't work. When they do work, it's just to either extort money from us or frustrate us or make our life difficult.
Let me give you an instance. Coming down to the corruption that we're talking about, we don't have much time. Look, I took it up myself. I stopped where the police were checking the road. 2 motorbike police officers. I recorded for 1 hour. Okay, see,
with your helmets?
Yes, I have a footage of it. I recorded 1 hour. And with the 1 hour, they were stopping all these big trucks. They stopped them, and then you see the big truck will go and pull up about 50 yards, 10 yards away. Then you start running to you run to the stopping officer, and you hold something in his hand, and then you will take it, and then he gives it back to him, and he goes back. He goes back and sits in his truck, and he goes away. But now, when I saw, if I show you that footage of a truck, that half of the truck, the way it was laden with scrap metal, okay, and half of the driver's door. The driver's door was out completely. As the driver was sitting down there, and he could even fall off his vehicle. And I said, goodness, look at the decrepit nature of this truck. And he has come through a police officer who have stopped him. What happened, I don't know. And he just pulled away and went away. For 1 hour, I recorded, I have the footage there. If you tell me, I will come and show you the footage. And you see, and said, what was it that they were doing? They stopped the motorist. He will get off his truck, go to the police officer, hand him something, and the police officer will look at it.
Yes, and I personally encountered a similar situation one day. Let me just make a point. I was driving from the Wyke end of the Swishback Road to join the 37 Military Hospital. And how that turn is, I think it was just before there's a consulate there, which you have to turn right side to the 37. And there was a car ahead of me which was in my way, obviously, because he is going straight and I am branching. So I had shifted to my right side a bit in order to make it possible for me to turn. And the guy was still standing in front of me when he could just move into his lane. So I actually horned, ping, ping, ping. Then the police officer walks to me and tells me that you are horning me to come and arrest you, right? Okay, bring your license. I was shocked. Okay, so I said, what is it? I mean, what offense have I committed? He said, where I was. And I said, I'm going that way. He took my license, and close to about 45 minutes, he eventually said my license was fake. I couldn't believe my ears, what he was telling me. And he was finding all sorts of reasons. He was lifting my license to the sun, and possibly he could have put weed in my car to implicate me. These things happen. They do happen, you acknowledge, right?
I would not hold brief for any policeman. But the issues are that just as they are bad drivers, they are also bad policemen. So the issues are the issue is about reform. The issues is about reforms in the police service. We are also training them, creating the necessary awareness for them to behave properly on the road. Against that background, we have instituted a whole lot of courses, and we hope that within some time, their performance will
be. I would have to take a short break. You're watching PM Express, and we're discussing spot fines and the impact that will have on traffic management in Accra. And then when the pilot is over, rolled out to the rest of the country. DSP Sasu Mensah, head of operations at the MTTU, and Nana Ano-Ami here, safety expert and executive director of Safety Ghana, are in the studio. You can send us your text 1760, post your comments on our Facebook walls, facebook.com/Joy News, or send us a tweet, Joy News on TV. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Welcome back to PM Express. And Reg Emmanuel Estates, with over 20 years unbeatable record at Katamanso, has 2 to 3 bedroom houses with expansion possibilities set within gated communities with superb infrastructure, 24/7 street lights, landscaped areas, social amenities, and including sports complex, educational facility, shopping center, and health facilities. Experience the new phase of urban living at the Balloon Gate Apartments, Kwabenya, where Reg Emmanuel Gray has brought to bear their expertise and unparalleled hallmarks in designing 2-bedroom apartments with 2 bathrooms, a spacious living room, a fitted kitchen, a balcony that has become the delight of homeowners, corporate bodies, and property investors. With an efficient an effective estate management service on site, your property can only appreciate and value. You can reach them on 020-222-9916 or 020-222-9918. The numbers again, 020-222-9916 or 020-222-9918. Or if you are in the UK, you can call 0208-5344-900 for a guided tour and get your allocation. Regmanuel Gray, express your value. Regmanuel Gray Limited, your dream, your choice, our promises. Now, we have some of your messages that have come in. I'll quickly read through some of them and then we'll continue and wrap up the discussion. Theophilus will say, you say that hope they will not negotiate with the perpetrators to share the money or make them go scot-free. And one, will they issue a receipt? What about if they share or pocket the money without providing receipts? Hope they do a good job. So these questions I'll put to DSP. And then El Shaddai Daniel, you say that I hope this will help reduce road accidents on our roads, especially on the N1 highway. Ziblim Nuruddin, you say it is a good step. Enoch Adum Eninfo, you say it's a step in the right direction. Hope this will not be a venue for corruption. Latif Karim is laughing. This is nothing but to promote corruption. Oh, Ghana, where are we heading to? That's your opinion, Latif. And the sport fine will only enrich few corrupt police officials. This is from Patrick in Takwa. And Steve, this is a system being put in place to promote high level of extortion by police personnel of the MTTU. This is from Estelo in Ho in the Volta region. This system is only going to make the police rich. How are they going to account for the money? Isaac from Wa, that's what you're saying. And then it seems the police is not prepared to roll out the spot fine. DSP is unable to give us the mode of operation of this spot fine. And spot fine is another fine and clear opportunity for the police to extort money from innocent Ghanaians. Please never activate this act, for it's only a means to perpetrate police corruption. This is from Donko from Elembele. And then this one from Godwin Ado Akosomo. You say, hi Steve, police were provided with speed guns and they rather used it to extort money from drivers. The spot fine, I'm afraid, Steve, oh my God, will rather facilitate further bribery. I bet you. Enter a signature here. I don't know whether you intended me to sign or it's just part of your text that came. Anyway, so this one from Josephson in Suta Tichiman. You say that some of us don't deserve it at all. Politicians should always think about national interests. I don't know what point you're making there, but thanks very much for that. And then Khalifo from Kumasi, you say, we're dead. Police to collect spot fine? Where are we going to pay the money? This is from Sisa. The inspector has not answered the question. The DSP, I beg your pardon. The question whether the fine will be collected on the spot or the driver will be given some time to pay the fine. I fear this will be abused. I think he has explained it, that the law says that there will be a spot fine notice issued. And this one from no name, you didn't add a name. Implementation will be effective only when a private entity is attached to the police for issuance of tickets and cash collection from offenders. The police alone will abuse it. This is actually from Amponsa. I think police must take their time for a better ICT system. If not, corruption will increase. Yes, it looks like all the messages that are coming in, bashing the police, suspicious that this will lead to corruption. I think you need to defend yourself.
First and foremost, let me address the issues that are arisen from viewers.
Yeah.
And the issue is that the police is not going to do
this alone.
As I said previously, we are going to use the multi-stakeholder approach. And I said initially that we will deal with institutions. We are going to rake in officials from DVLA, National Road Safety Commission, the banks and the private sector. So the teams of the TETs, the traffic enforcement teams, would be maybe people from the banks. People from there would be issuing out the tickets. if the policeman issues the ticket you want to pay, it will be taken by the bank officials. So basically, it is not about the police collecting money. The issue is that we want to insulate ourselves.
What if people refuse to pay?
If people refuse to pay, that is where
we will
engineer the police process. That is, we take you through the process.
You are speaking very technical police language. Engineer the process. That's empty. It's empty words.
No, engineer, it means that you will be processed for court. Okay. And at the end of the day, the court would have to deal with you if you refuse to pay the first fine.
But, I mean, the police is not taking advantage of the...
What
I mean is that the police is not taking advantage of the biometric data system available.
Yes, in the long term. In the long term, that
which could easily track you down. If you are stopped, then they take your fingerprint.
In the long term, that is what we are going to do.
We can track
in the long term, we are going to come out with an ICT plan, collaborate. So basically, but for the pilot, we have to start something.
So the pilots will be in Accra alone?
In Accra, Tema, and Kumasi.
I see. Accra, Tema, Kumasi.
And we are going to put the pilot, what we are going to do is that we are going to put in our best. We are going to train and train and train. And at the end of the day, it's going to be supervised by senior police officers.
Let me ask you, DSP.
Who are imbued with the necessary integrity.
Let me just cut you off before you continue. Now, the traffic court, for example.
Yes, the motor court.
The motor traffic courts. When people go there and they're fined, where does the money go? Who collects the money?
It goes to the consolidated fund.
And the police doesn't account for it?
No, it goes to the court. The consolidated.
So it will be the same for the sport fine when it is implemented?
The sport fine, as I told you, there are rules, there are regulations. There are rules and there are regulations. And the rule says that the police or the MTTU is entitled to only 25% of the fines collected. The rest is for the state.
Okay.
So basically, the issue is not about police trying.
These allegations of corruption must be very frustrating for the high hierarchy of the police service, right?
Not like that.
No, what I mean is that these allegations, numerous allegations of corruption, must be affecting the police top hierarchy. You must be having sleepless nights about such an institution. I mean, you are heading an institution which is utterly corrupt.
That you can't say, but basically that is the perception of some people. But the police, we are doing
a lot to prune out corrupt practice. Nana, we're wrapping up. Your own final comments on all this we've been talking about.
As I said earlier, it's a step in the right direction, and we don't have to reinvent the wheel. This is a system that has been operated for years in many countries. And really, technology, as I said, is now going to help us to have a quantum leap into the 23rd century.
You think the police must embrace available technology?
So for me, when this the DSP is saying that the senior police officer is imbued with integrity, every policeman wearing the crown, he said integrity and service. This is the police motto. Should be
integrity and service.
Even a constable should be imbued with integrity.
Not only senior officers.
Not only senior officers. A constable who is equipped with all these gadgets that I'm talking about should be able to pull up an errant driver, and just by a simple gadget, let him thumbprint it. The system will issue out a receipt to the offending driver, and then it will go to the system. It's so simplified. So you don't need to have a gang of police officers just to gathering at a place to arrest a driver who
that brings me to your video recording you said you have.
Yes,
I think that you should make a commitment here to hand over
it's not a commitment, it's a service to the nation. I mean,
to the police.
I've been doing a lot of things that I want to really bring to bear on how we manage our traffic on the road to avoid all this unnecessary death. So, on my own, to my own peril, which during the course of doing this recording, I nearly had a fatal crash.
Accident.
Okay, the footage that I have there was for public education. How motorcyclists should obey the law. They should not think that the law is only for motorists and stuff, even pedestrians. So the footage I have there was not meant to go and do agent provocateur against the police. But in the quest of doing my road, the recording on the road conditions, and I recorded these 2 police officers for over an hour and stopping trucks that some of them could not even needed. They shouldn't have even moved a yard after the police have stopped them. But I didn't see the police officer detaining any of those vehicles.
Right.
And that made me feel that there's something that is untoward that we should root out from the police service.
Nana, we're very grateful for your time. I'm afraid our time is up, so we need to wrap up. My name is Stephen Anti, and we're very grateful to Nana Anoami here, who is a safety expert, is Executive Director of Safety Ghana, and then DSP Sasu Mensah is head of operations at the police MT2 here in Accra. We were unable to reach Rudolph Beckley, who is a deputy director of research monitoring at the National Road Safety Commission. But we're grateful that you could send in your text messages and Facebook comments. Join us again tomorrow for another edition of PM Express. Good night.